The most significant milestones in your financial journey will occur between $0 and $100,000. I'm sure $1 million feels great, but it is between these two numbers where the real magic happens. It's where stresses disappear, doors start to open, and freedom starts to show up. Money isn't going to solve all your problems, but going from $0 to $100,000 will 100% change your life for the better. And so in this video, you and I are going to go on a journey from $0 to $100,000 and talk about every milestone along the way. And I hope that wherever you are at in your financial journey, this video inspires you to keep moving forward and celebrate how far you have already come. And so let's start off at the beginning, $0. Now, $0 might not sound like an accomplishment, but this is probably the hardest milestone to reach because $0 means that you are debt-free. You might still have a mortgage, but you have no credit card balances, no student loans, and nobody is calling to ask you where the money you owe them is. You are the captain of your own ship. You're finally able to breathe and start making decisions that are best for you and move towards progress. And the second milestone is $500. Some studies suggest that over 60% of Americans are unable to cover a $500 emergency expense. And so if you have $500, that means that you are ahead of 60% de los gringos. $500 means that you are able to cover many surprise expenses in life. If you need a new pair of tires, a filling, or medicine for your pet, then you can cover it. You're not home free, but you have created that first line of defense, and with it comes more peace of mind, and it's a bit easier to move forward. Now, $1,000. $1,000 means that you are even more prepared for emergencies in life. If you need a last-minute plane ticket, a car repair, or pay for a medical bill, you can cover it and might even have some money left over. It's not enough to feel bulletproof, but you got some power in your corner now, heavy ammunition in your camp. You got some punch pizzazz, yahoo and how. You got emergency buffer in your hands. You were one jump ahead of the breadline, and now we reach $5,000. Now, going from $0 to $5,000 is all about defense, saving for emergencies. But $5,000 is when you can start to move towards offense and growing your money. It's the amount where you can begin to invest. And obviously you don't want to put all the money in, but you can take a small amount of it to learn. And if some surprise expense comes up, you have the savings to cover it and don't have to withdraw your investments. And you can also enjoy more things. You can get a nice dinner out, a new gadget, or a weekend getaway. And there isn't as much guilt attached. For example, I recently took a 2-week trip to Portugal to walk the Camino de Santiago. And although I have more than $5,000, it is that financial cushion that allowed me to do it guilt-free. And as someone who has traveled to over 40 countries in the span of 13 years, one thing that has drastically changed about travel is that technology has made travel a lot more accessible. I mean, nowadays, you can take a picture of a menu to translate it. You can communicate to more people using translation, and getting around is much easier because of GPS. However, in order to use these useful technologies, you need cell phone data, and a problem that you might experience when traveling is your provider not working there or charging you expensive roaming fees. Or you could waste hours walking around an airport or the streets looking for a SIM card, which is exactly where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Saily. Saily is an app that allows you to download eSIMs to over 200 destinations around the world. meaning that you can have data the second you land. And Saley has made this process incredibly easy. All you have to do is scan this QR code or go to saley.com/Austin. Download the app and then choose the country that you are traveling to. Pick a plan that best suits your needs and use the code Austin at checkout for 15% off your first eSIM and follow the steps to download the eSIM to your phone. And you are ready to explore with reliable data. And what I like about Saley is they have privacy features that allow you to change your virtual location, block malicious ads, and stay safer with web protection. And if you ever need help, they have 24/7 support and are compatible with both iPhones and Androids. To get reliable data for your next great adventure, scan this QR code or go to saley.com/Austin to download the app and use the code Austin at checkout to get 15% off your first eSIM. Again, use the code Austin at checkout to get 15% off. Now back to the video. But $5,000 is where you stop playing catch up and start building lasting wealth. Now the next milestone is where everything changes, and that is $10,000. In my opinion, $10,000 is the most significant part of your financial journey. I even made a complete video about it. That's my second highest viewed video. And many people copied it. Some even got higher views than me. But let it be known that I was the OG. But $10,000 is when you can cover pretty much any surprise expense in life. If you need major car work, a root canal, or to meet a deductible, you got the money. $10,000 also gives you more confidence. You're no longer just surviving, but you can finally breathe. You're no longer living paycheck to paycheck and you're more stable. And ironically, $10,000 is also when things start to get a lot less expensive. You're not paying overdraft fees, high interest, or late penalties. $10,000 doesn't make you rich, but it makes you a lot calmer and a lot of stresses disappear. Our next milestone is $25,000. $25,000 is when you have proof of concept. You're not getting started anymore, but you have built real traction. You have proven that you are able to accomplish big things financially, and it's becoming harder to stop you from moving forward. You have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. And if you have a percentage of that invested, compound interest is starting to produce real numbers. With $10,000 invested, that's $1,000 of interest a year. You're beginning to have more freedom with how you live your life. You can afford to turn down money, do more of what you want, and try new things. $25,000 is far from financial independence, but life doesn't feel as fragile as it once was. You're no longer surviving, but you're starting to strategize and you're building much more momentum, making it harder for you to move backwards. Now, $50,000. $50,000 is when your financial identity becomes solidified. You are on a train that is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Don't care nothing but the righteous and the holy. This train is bound for glory. This train. You are no longer someone who's trying to get it together, but you got it together. You got real money. And at this stage, surprises aren't scary anymore. If you need a car repair, a root canal, a plane ticket, or all the above, you don't even hesitate because you know it won't even dent your foundation. But at the same time, you're continuing to make good financial decisions because you never want to go back to what life was like before. What you have built is something that you are not willing to give up. And you understand that because you were the one that built it. You were climbing halfway up the mountain, beginning to look back at the world, wondering, why the hell aren't there more people on this trail to freedom? You walk differently, you talk differently, you have more confidence and the world can see it. And you're beginning to climb faster than ever. With an emergency fund topped off and $30,000 invested, you're gaining $3,000 a year on interest alone. Money is your servant, not your master. And soon enough, something else unlocks, and that is at $75,000. 75,000 is where life starts to feel customizable. You no longer have to follow a path, but you now have the resources to design your own, and you can start taking calculated risks. You can pursue a passion project, take some time off, or move to a new place. I personally decided to quit my job when I was at $75,000 because I thought that was enough money to take a risk. And 3 years ago, I even made a video outlining my financial plan on how long my money would last. And I'm not saying this to brag, but 3 years later, I am making more money than I have ever made in my life. And the only reason was because of that $75,000 I saved first. 75,000 is a powerful milestone. You're not rich, but you're in control. You're not done, but you're not stuck. You have crossed the border from survival to strategy, and this is where life starts to get interesting. At this stage, you have gained options in life. And even if you are completely happy with where you are, in the back of your mind, you always know you can make a change if needed. It's a freeing feeling, and if you've ever experienced it, let me know in the comments. But with that security, you can start aligning your life with your values and think long term about the rich life that you want to lead. And on top of that, your investments are starting to compound faster than ever. With a topped off emergency fund and $50K invested, you are gaining more and more and more every year. Life is getting better and it's getting easier. And finally, we reach the final milestone of our journey, $100,000. Reaching 100,000 is surreal. It feels like an accomplishment to see 6 figures in your bank account. That is an accomplishment that most people will not reach in their entire lives. Only the intentional, committed, and disciplined reach this point. Nobody gets here by accident. And I'll be honest, going from 75,000 to 100,000 isn't that different. You've already gotten rid of a lot of burdens, opened a lot of doors, and experienced many freedoms. The main difference at this stage is your investments. They are starting to grow at a much quicker pace. With a topped off emergency fund and $80,000 invested, you're now seeing your portfolio regularly move by the thousands. The future seems brighter and more in your control. You are the master of your own fate and can say yes to opportunities and no to things that don't serve you. At $100,000, freedom isn't a distant dream, but it's a reality that you are living every single day. And although $100,000 isn't the end of your journey, it is the hardest part of your journey. And it's much smoother sailing from here on out. And so no matter where you are at in your financial journey, don't stop. Keep moving. Remember to celebrate every milestone, no matter how big or small, because every milestone unlocks something worthwhile and makes it all the easier to reach the next one. So don't stop. You got this. Agustin is rooting for you. And with that, muchas gracias. Que tenga un buen día. Nos vemos, chicos.